welcome to the CFG Game Cast, episode number 259, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers that like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release on all podcast services, so do us a favor and show us some love by liking, following, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube page, the CFG, or on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/CFG Games, or go to our main website, freaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, David Screen, and with me today, I got my two awesome co-hosts. I got Pop in the second seat. What's going on, Pop? How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a pretty chill week, wrapping up the semester. 4 class meetings left, and then I'll be free unless they have me do summer courses, which I don't know yet. If they do, fine, cool. That's more money to make and one less class to teach, but looking forward to having some time off for the next 3.5 months.
Ooh,
yeah.
God, yes. That sounds amazing. That sounds awesome. Man, and like I know it's been kind of crazy and hectic as of late at the end of the thing, but in the meantime, though, like, have you been playing anything recently?
I've been prepping my speedrun for Pirate Yakuza for the Black and Flash Juneteenth event.
Nice.
Outside of that, nothing much. I mean, South of Midnight, I had some early access to that, but outside of that, I've just been working on getting that run routed. I did a practice run yesterday, and I ended up hitting 237, which isn't too bad for a first try with the New Game Plus run, but I'm hoping I can get that cut down to at least maybe 210. 2 hours is ideal, but I don't think it's possible because of one of the cutscenes.
What's the record so far?
I believe it's like 214.
Wow, dude. So you're kind of close. You're cutting it really close. Jesus, that's gonna be insane. So looking forward to checking that out. Once you get some more information about that, definitely plug it in on here. That'll be awesome. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. But hey, you know what, Pop?
What's that?
You know, when you think of Dynasty Warriors, you think of this man that's just going ham especially with his boy Lu Bu.
You wouldn't be talking about Smitty, would you?
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Just recovering from, again, it was great seeing people out in Arizona at Game On Expo. Being able to do that, interacting with people was freaking amazing. I would say it's like that's one of the scariest things when you're doing a live event, that just nobody shows up. So it was awesome that people showed up. People were walking by, saw we were having a good time, talking, we're popping in. So that's always a great feeling to be able to do that. But other than that, though, like, got back and the little was sick, so I was home with her. I worked, which is, again, a blessing to be able to work remotely still. So I was still able to work, but stay home with the little. I am starting to feel something between the con crud and the sick little and this and that. Like, I think things were bound to happen regardless. Excuse me. But, overall solid, getting more Warriors Abyss and apparently trying to speed up my carpal tunnel journey, I guess, in this game. I don't know. I know like South of Midnight came out and like I got to go back to Avowed. I'm playing freaking
wow, you're playing Avowed too?
Wow. I mean, let me loosely say I'm playing Avowed. I started Avowed is what I should say. I started Avowed. So I'll get to that at some point in time, I'm sure. But that hasn't been the main focus. Main focus story-wise, I'm trying to get through Death Stranding. That's what I've been focusing on. But again, with Marvel Rivals, the new season coming out, and Warriors Abyss, I've kind of been splitting my time between those three, which I feel bad because I really, really want to jump back into and grinding out on some Once Human as well. So I don't know, too many games, too much time. I'm excited for your topic as well because I know it's going to be meaty, but it's been a solid week. What about you, brother? Dude.
You're like backlog. Your backlog is like everything at the same time.
I can't even. I know, dude. It's like I can't even dude. I haven't even looked at Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've conceded to just like there's just games that I'm not gonna ever touch or finish. Or whatever. I have to like. I can't like. It's like I don't like having too many options. I have to be able to lay down and focus down on one thing or maybe a couple of things, and then that's all I can do, and then not think about the other things because it's gonna make otherwise it's just gonna make me feel like shit.
We've seen the evolution of Smitty's 5 stages of gaming. Denial, yes, I can get through them all.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
There's too many games, too little time, too much fun.
It's funny because it's like you want Smitty to be like, Smitty's like the perfect cheerleader for your game, because it's like when he's into it, he's into it. He's going to root for it, man. Like it's
absolutely.
It's like, I wanted to play it, and it's like, I'm going to play it, but I just don't have enough time because I have so many other things that's going on at the same time. Oh my God.
And that's not even talking like games like trying to review or stuff like that. It's like,
oh God, somebody be started on doing reviews.
Yes. Yeah, that's like you don't want to miss it. It's so freaking crazy.
It is a losing battle, my friend.
It is a losing battle. There's no way you're going to catch up. Especially the games that you're playing, man. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Dynasty Warriors or Dynasty's, is it Abyss? Warriors Abyss?
Warriors Abyss, yeah.
Warriors Abyss.
Yeah, Warriors Abyss is short, and but it's just repetitive, like
it's not even, but like I don't even feel like for me and where I'm at right now, dude, like it takes me, like the fastest run I've had has maybe been 45 minutes to get a full run.
That's great.
That's a lot of time, dude. That is a lot of time.
Compared to like Death Stranding, dude, like it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time. It does,
but at least I'm progressing in a story.
Yeah, that's
fair. What I'm saying? Whereas Warriors Abyss, like literally I'm just going through the same thing over and over. And I haven't even gotten to the higher difficulties. It changes, like there's modifiers and stuff like that with each traversal level that you go to, which again, which spices up the game and makes it, that's where you get that variety. I haven't even gotten close to, again, I said that the highest traversal I've tried has been 3 and I got my ass kicked. So there's a lot still for me to discover. But again, that's a time burn. That is a time burn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, but like Dynasty, like a Warriors Abyss comparatively, like the story-driven games, it's a game that you don't have to think that much on comparatively to a progressive.
And that's why it's easy to pop it on. I can hop off it, and like when you go back in, you're literally right where you left off. It's fantastic. And it's like great. I don't even have to put the full time in. I can just get this run started, and I'll save it for later.
Yeah,
I can play it on my backbone. It's great, y'all. Like I am like literally, I am playing it on my backbone, and I don't use my backbone very often. That should tell you everything you need to know. What up, Poppy?
That's awesome. That's hilarious, but it's true. That's good. But that's as of me, man. Like once again, like what Smitty said earlier, thank you for all the folks that did come out to Game On Expo. Like I said, this is our very first time going out, and like I think I said even at the beginning of it when we did the panel, I was freaking out because I've never done a live panel before. So I was worried, and Smitty's same like justifiable worry that no one was going to be there. So it's kind of like, oh shit, but everything worked out. It was great. It was, we had a really good time. We had great conversations with folks and stuff. We welcomed things. Arizona, like, I don't know what was going on in the city of Arizona or in Phoenix, but man, the weather was perfect over there. Yeah, it wasn't too hot. It was just cool. It was nice and chill. There was no burning up or
Meanwhile,
anything.
we all suffered on the East Coast.
Yeah. Well, we all know the East Coast doesn't exist, Pop. So there.
That is crazy. And I've been meaning to ask, what was the wildest or hottest game take that y'all heard at Game Expo?
That's a good question. What was the wildest one? Well, for me, it's fucking Wario, dude. Like that was like, so there was a Wario cosplayer that was saying that Dark Souls was overrated, and I'm like, you're not wrong, but you're not right.
Yeah.
That was one of them. And then, but I guess what about the one about Nintendo? There was that one guy who talked about that said something about like, the only reason why Nintendo was popular was its nostalgia. that people were paying for the nostalgia for it. And yeah, we had a really good conversation on that one. I do remember that because we were like,
and DLCs.
And the DLC. Oh God. Oh yeah. Don't get me started with that. Or no, early releases. Yeah.
Early releases. Yeah.
Early access. That was. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That was good. That was a good one. Definitely. But
what did they say about early access?
Well, they basically had the same take I do, which was basically saying they're just annoyed by seeing early access and not getting the full game. And when the game finally comes out and stuff, like it's underwhelming because it's not like immediate. It's something that you have to wait months on in, but then yet you paid full price for the game. So I was just like, yeah, I mean, I've been saying it forever. Smitty's been hearing me say it for years. So it's like, yeah.
I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. I love early access games. I love feeling like I'm a part of the development and like how the community grows and like being on that ground floor of a game. But I can understand too, like, I think in some, sometimes it is warranted. I think other times it's not warranted. And, early access to me is a game's launch, whatever they want to call it. And they're basically saying that we are going to actively work with this while letting people play the game and you're going to pay this price. But once this game, I guess, comes out, they will or then can up the price. That's where some weird things have happened too, where all of a sudden, like people that have already bought in, they're like, "Oh, you got to rebuy into like, whoa, what you talking about, dog? What you talking about, dog? I already bought this game, son. I helped you build this game, son.
Why are you asking me for some more money?
Nah.
Do you know what it is though? Like, I think it's just a matter of the level of greed that these companies kind of go with. And like I said, it's like there's a time and a place for early access, but I think it depends on the size of the game that you're doing it in. In my personal opinion, like a AAA game that says early access, there's so many different options or so many different games you could pull examples of early accessing being either too aggressive or asking the consumer more money that they shouldn't be asking for and stuff like that. So, and it's like Steam Early Access is also another one I'm kind of like 50-50 on as well. But usually, like in the perfect world, I can understand why they're doing it, but it's fairly seldom that they don't do it, that they do it right. And so that's my issue with it. Personally, but I know y'all don't want to talk about getting into another hot take again after we deal with it. But like, yeah, if you want to see another some more of that, definitely check it out. We did release the video on that on our YouTube page, so that and also on all podcast services for the panel. So really good.
I just wanted to say real quick, huge thank you as well to Cody and Arctic Ninja who helped with making sure that the camera was rolling and restarted when necessary and whatnot. So and just helping out in general there. So I wanted to say thank you as well.
Yeah, that's a good. I was actually needing you to get me their information. That'd be pretty. Pretty cool.
Yeah,
definitely appreciate that. But guys, let's get through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion in the world of video games. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry. We do not want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch and on YouTube, to be a part of the conversation as always. So if there's something that you wanted to chime in about on whatever we talk about, by all means, just type it inside the chat and we will discuss it with you and go from there. So, Pop, what are you bringing to the table?
I want to talk about South of Midnight because I had early access for it and I recently finished it before the game officially released on Tuesday. It is only 4 days old. Eventually it'll be 4 years old, but it's 4 days old. Still fresh, still new. A lot of people are still tweeting about their experiences with the game. I went in without any expectations, like high hopes for the game, which actually helped out my experience quite a bit with the game. I would give it an 8 out of 10. Nothing higher than an 8. I wouldn't go lower than a 7, honestly.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's a good game. For the most part.
Oh yeah, like I love story-driven games. Well, you already know I love story-driven games. If the story keeps me engaged, it's already going to be at least a 7, because there are a lot of games that are story heavy, but I can literally just start tuning stuff out, or like, can I skip this cutscene? Like, I don't really care for this anymore, but the combat's cool. But those games I typically stay away from. I might like watch someone play and I'm just like, I might check it out. I don't really know. But because in the past I would, throughout childhood, I would get games that were story driven, not really interested in the story, and would just stop playing them completely and eventually just finish them for the sake of saying I've finished the game. But with this one in particular, even though the combat wasn't very rewarding, the story kept me wanting to go.
What do you mean by the combat wasn't very rewarding? Like, was it just like it was it was cookie cutter, or was it just like how was that system when you were playing?
The loop's pretty standard, and like your average action game, you get abilities that you can't unlock. Unfortunately, with this one, you don't deal more damage over time as you unlock abilities and do different upgrades. The upgrades are more so towards cooldowns and things. They have like a parry and a block, but the mechanics are very, I don't want to say they're polished, but they're basic in the sense that you have the option to skip combat and fights in the game, which I think is pretty cool if you just want to pay attention to the story. But with action-based games and doing combat, and this might be my experience with other games, I like being able to deal more damage over time as the story progresses. By the time you get to the final boss, you're dealing the same amount of damage you were doing at the beginning of the game.
So you don't progressively get stronger, but it's just rather that it's more like so it seems more kind of platformish then.
Definitely leans more towards the platformer side than the combat side. It's definitely super platform heavy. And when I say you don't deal more damage over time, even with the Weaver abilities, yes, they do a little bit more damage, but the fact that all the abilities have a cooldown on it, you're still theoretically doing the exact same amount of damage you would be doing by the time you unlock those abilities and get to end game. So it really isn't. And that's not very rewarding to me. Like I like being able to play a game and being like, oh, if I do this cool combo with the gameplay mechanic, I can, finish this boss in 3 hits and I'm on like hard or something like that. Or if I haven't played it on a higher difficulty, but I would not want to play this on a higher difficulty because of how the combat mechanic, the combat loop is just not there for me. A lot of people like the music. Sorry, as the music head of the group or music teacher, whatever you want to call me, the musician, music educator of the group. I
the PhD
am not a huge fan of the soundtrack. I am not a huge fan of the soundtrack itself. Call it bias, whatever you want, but it really feels like someone was given an assignment and they fulfilled all of the requirements. Like, it sounds good, but if I want to listen to jazz or other music from the US South, I'll just go. It's like, oh, this reminds me of this. Like the combat music at the very beginning really irritated me because it had this Porgy and Bess. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with that, but Porgy and Bess, long story short, it was a stage work by George Gershwin in an attempt. Funny enough, it's the attempt to capture the Black experience in the U.S. South, but from a non-Black perspective, where you have this game trying to capture the U.S. South in general, but a lot of the folklore that gets pulled from are from different Black cultures in the U.S. South. So like Creole people from Louisiana. There are a couple of white Creole characters where like they speak French. The difference is white Creoles, they're not mixed. Louisiana, New Orleans specifically, had the split between the Spaniards and the French. So the French white men called themselves Creoles. So it's a linguistic difference and not a skin difference. Black Creoles are just people that were basically people of color that mixed with other people of color. So you could have like a Black French person that was mixed with a Black Spanish person. or a black or a dark skin or brown indigenous person in Louisiana. Just wanted to make that distinction there. There are, of course, some Cajun people involved as well, which was interesting to see where they had that dynamic between the different cultures. It's a huge mix of folklore throughout the story. There are some things that are a little bit off, but not too off to where I didn't, it wasn't off to the point where I stopped enjoying the game.
So are you
music
saying
aside?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Like I was just saying, so are you saying, like, music aside, the fact that you don't think that it was as authentic as it should have been, given the place that it's coming from and the story that it was trying to say, or that it was portraying, because it didn't seem like the source wasn't, from the South, essentially.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely. I mean, authenticity is always like subjective to certain people. Like to me, this isn't going to be authentic because of who is behind the scenes, and because of that, I see it as a positive representation of the South. There are a lot of different things in popular media where it's just like, here's the U.S. South, and it's like absolute dog water. But this is an actually like fun representation of the U.S. South. I was a little confused by like the timelines that were going on, and not confused in a sense of it wasn't clear, but it was just like, you start off from what seems to be sort of modern day, but it was a mix of different times that are part of the U.S. South, and I thought that was a very interesting take. It's definitely a great interpretation of the U.S. South, but I wouldn't say that it's an authentic representation.
Yeah, just not enough for you to be, but it wasn't a deal breaker enough for to be like, this game wasn't good.
No, I wouldn't say that it's a bad game. It's definitely a good game.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's a nice game to pass the time by. If you have high expectations for this game and you haven't played it yet and you're listening to this or we talk about this, do not let my words get you down. I had fun. There's just some things that I had to, or things that I was able to overlook because I was having fun. I won't say I had to overlook them because I didn't force myself to. Like I said, the story kept me engaged. I'm just like, that's not what a Rougarou is, but I was just like, there were some things that popped up. I'm just like, I don't know what it is, but
yeah, that's cool. What do you think about that, Smitty? Like, is it like, are you still anticipating wanting to try it out?
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna play it. And again, it's for I've got family from the South, so it's for me anyway. I don't have like this game needs to be amazing. I expect it to be an average game at best, and I'm talking about technically and things like that. For me, I just want to hear the story. I want to know the story behind this, because and I've talked about it. It's not something that I'm like, like hone in on like whether a game has a person of color or not. But for me, there's not a lot of people of color that are the protagonists in games, and we're seeing more and more of it, despite people being salty about it for some weird reason. But I love it. Again, one of my favorite games is Deathloop. I absolutely love that game. I was able to relate to the character and become the character, just because, we looked similar, or because we, whatever. And I totally get it. I think representation is important in video games. So... And that's Zao's another example for me. That's a game I play on the side as well. Just I'm not familiar with African culture and stuff like that. I'd love to learn how they interpret their culture into a video game. So that's stuff that I want to be able to try. And whether it's, I don't go in with these high expectations for these games to be technical masterpieces. I'm going in for the story, the culture, and that lore, because it's something that I'm not familiar with, and I'd like to know more about it. And if you have a fun game too, hey, that's just a bonus for me.
that's cool.
Yeah, I will say I'm happy that the game was marketed as not being something super technical. Like, the game is slipping my mind. But it's another game that has a person of color as the protagonist, and it just kind of like fell on deaf ears because
Forsaken.
they were like, "Oh, this combat is a little upsetting."
Was it Forsaken?
Forsaken or Forspoken?
Forspoken.
One of the two.
Yeah, like a lot of people were expecting.
Yeah.
Forspoken kind of fell short on the story from what I've heard. I didn't play it because I was already not interested from the trailer kind of turned me off. But with South of Midnight, the trailer, I was already intrigued by how the story was set up. The game is absolutely gorgeous. If I had to say what my top 3 favorite things are from South of Midnight, character designs, the environment. And it was a little weird to get used to at first, but I actually didn't mind the stop motion animation that was happening during the cutscenes. It fit in very well. So.
Like the weird Spider-Man.
For that.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man movie, like the 14 frames per second, that weird thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was.
And an honorary mention, the sound design. You know, as a music person, I'm a sucker for hearing different sounds, and just like, I guess that goes with like the design of the environment, just being able to hear certain things in a very unique way.
I can't.
Super fun.
You've actually made me more excited now about the music, especially being a doctor in music, and what your take is, because that was one of the things I was really looking forward to. So somebody that is not, as educated or does not have that knowledge of music like that, I'm curious to now going in what my ears hear and how I like it, how I interpret it, as a person that's less familiar, but also taking in this story. So I will say the sound, like, I didn't like the soundtrack, but I will say it doesn't sound bad. I just didn't like it because it's just like it was teaching like student assignments, like composition assignments. It's just like, submit this, and it's like, where's the creativity? It's safe, but like, where's the?
You're coming at a bias at a higher level of like of appreciation when it comes to that kind of stuff.
My palettes a little different, but
exactly. So it's like it's a very subjective
audio
level.
design, which is completely separate from the soundtrack. Like what you hear, the things that you like.
That I'm familiar with.
Audio design is just sound design, just chef's kiss, perfect.
Very nice. That's good to know. Riggedy Rec did ask this game is looking cool. How long did it take to beat?
It took me about 8.5 to 9 hours. If you want to finish or like 100% the game, I have heard that it takes around 14 to 15 hours, but the devs did come out and say that it takes about 10 hours to complete. Yeah, it's
not bad at all.
I think it's running for $40 on the market, and a 10-hour game with a solid story, polished gameplay. I didn't encounter any issues with the gameplay, and I think they did have a first day patch that happens, but even though the combat isn't rewarding, like it's polished enough to the point where like if anybody nitpicks anything outside of the combat loop being boring, then it's skill issue. Yeah, I'm sorry, skill issue.
It's also on Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate because like I don't have Game Pass, but I would have to buy it. Dude, you already know it, man. Like, I don't like renting games.
Just get Game Pass.
You heard what I said. I said within the next 10 years, Xbox is going to be the leader in video games. You heard it here first.
You said it multiple times.
That is my hot take. I did. I have. I've been saying it for years now.
I just don't like the idea.
Are you going to say this at Level Up in Las Vegas?
I absolutely
I need you to...
I absolutely will. That is like... I firmly believe it. I feel like they have positioned themselves. Regardless, that's a whole other topic.
He's gonna bang on his chest as hard as he possibly can, and it's like about this. And I'm just like, I am not gonna rent. My thing, I'm not gonna rent games. Poppy Hendricks is with me there too. Xbox is not going to be the leader in ish.
Maybe in the West, like overall, no. In the West. Maybe
specifically in the West, I believe.
Yeah.
Not overall. You're right.
Yeah, I am
in the West.
super old school, dude. Like, I am all about the physical. I am all about like all this different kinds of stuff because I hate digital and I don't like it. But like, I know I'm a dying breed now. But like,
I was gonna say you don't have a choice.
What's even worse, I know, right? What's even worse is that these future tariffs that may be possibly happening is just going to strengthen the digital purchasing and stuff. So, like, I don't, but it's not for me. It's like I'm just about like I don't want it. So I'm going to take as long as it's going to be until I'm going to go as long as I possibly can, except for limited run. I will never purchase another limited run game again. But still, like, other than that, it's like, okay, there you go. Poppy says it's going to be PlayStation, if anything, just want to drop the new handheld. You know, I don't even think it's going to be PlayStation. I think, to be honest with you, the one that people always forget about is Nintendo. Nintendo's consistently always selling units. Like, I mean, units of games.
Nintendo is still the leader right now, even though the Switch One is in the older generation. It's outsold both PlayStation and Xbox.
System-wise, I don't think so.
Clip what I said. Clip this whole conversation. And we'll play it back 10 years from now. We can all be like, that person was right.
We will. But like,
Nintendo is greedy, and you know what? Nintendo, I think they have now they have crossed the line on what they can get away with people being like, yo, dude, that's just too much. You guys I think it is gonna have a negative impact on them, and they have forgotten about that. They are gonna get humbled by their arrogance, I feel, in what they're doing. Again, obviously the economical climate, we're gonna have to wait and see. But I think,
I don't think it's necessarily them being greedy. I think some people forget that the yen is absolutely dirt cheap in USD. So if they're gonna make a profit, they have to charge based on what their currency is.
Well, we'll see.
So until the yen gets some strong arm back in the currency realm, we probably won't see their prices go down until the yen gets some prominence back.
We'll have to a little bit of column A and column B, but on that, because there's a lot of different things. But but we're going to get to that. But before we do, we got Smitty's topic coming up right now. So what are you bringing to the table, Smitty?
Yeah, we got to talk about it. We got today, and if you've been noticing lately, creators have been talking about going out to Bungie. Obviously, their next big thing is essentially their reboot of Marathon. Marathon actually is a trilogy that came out in the early 90s. Bungie is like, look, we essentially after the final shape, and this has been in development for a while now. They're like, we're going to revisit and reboot this IP that we had called Marathon. It's a PvPvE, essentially extraction shooter. Folks are getting their hands on it. We've got gameplay footage, reveal trailer, all that stuff came out. And alpha is coming out here in a couple weeks as well. There's signups you can go to, jump into the Discord. You can sign up via that. People are going to be streaming it as well. Is another way that there'll be multiple ways to be able to get your hands on. And again, this is going to be a closed alpha at first. So this is still early. But if you know anything about Bungie, if you've played Halo, the earlier Halos, Destiny, any of them, what Bungie does best is their gunplay. Shooting, their pew-pews. It's fun. It's satisfying. They know how to do it. I have not played a Bungie game where the gunplay was not satisfying. That in itself has got me pumped. We know that Sony, them now being owned by Sony or being at least underneath that umbrella and whatnot. And Sony's been coming in more and more because, Bungie have been doing missteps for quite some time. This started back in Destiny, carried through on Destiny 2 as leaders and what the original Bungie team that was no longer really exists as to what those earlier days were. Regardless, though, that didn't change the fact that they know how to play or do fun games like this. Extraction shooters are not my typical thing. Think like a Escape from Tarkov and things like that. There's still a lot that I don't know about this game, but I do know I want to at least give it a go, try it out. I think they're going to go super heavy on this because this is going to have a huge impact, not only on the company of Bungie, but also Sony. Sony, as well, I don't know why I said Sunny.
You're thinking Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I don't know where that came from. It just my mouth opened and that's what came out. So I think this is going to be huge. I think there's going to be a couple factors though that we have to think about in terms of this game being successful. These types of games already exist. I wouldn't say it's an oversaturated market, but there's some saturation within that market. So people are at least familiar with that type of game and stuff like that. The biggest things that are, I think are going to be the most impact in terms of consumer wise is going to come down to what the game's going to cost. Right. I imagine, it's going to be at least industry standards around $40 for a type of game like that. So we have to see, are they going to throw up premium prices, them Sony prices out the gate? Is it going to be closer to industry standard? Or are they going to do something completely different? We don't know that yet. That stuff is yet to be seen. Also their monetization within game. I imagine there's going to be some sort of battle pass or some way of them being able to generate revenue within the game as well. And then, of course, in a live service game, let me see that roadmap, son. What's the plan? What's it going to look like? We're still earlier on. This is a closed alpha, so there's still more stuff, but this game is expected to be released sometime this year. And if you look at Marvel Rivals, from its closed alpha to its release was only like a 2-month period, maybe 3-month period. So, they're really ramping things up. And the fact that the curtain has been lifted, we're actually getting to see gameplay of the actual game. Streamers and content creators are getting their hands on it and whatnot. Like, they are ramping up that marketing. It is going to be coming sooner than we think. And I'm absolutely pumped for it. I wanted to see what you guys thought. I know it's outside of a genre that you guys don't typically play, but I just want to know what your guys' thoughts were on it. And if there's any excitement level to even dabble in a little bit.
The only excitement level that I have is probably going to be the day one when you play it. And because I don't usually play, it's not like I hate the game or I just don't play this genre. And plus this is something that's been in this limbo state for literally 10 years. It's been a long time for them to be working on this. We've been just hearing for years now. We've been talking about what's the next thing after Destiny that they're going to be working on, and it's oh no, they're working on something. They're working on their remake of Marathon and stuff. And I didn't even I wasn't even aware of the history of Marathon until maybe a year or two ago. And I'm like, oh, this is a remake of something that they made a long time ago. And when I'm seeing on the game itself, it's not really. For me personally, it's not really doing anything for me on this is just more of a arena. I look at it as arena shooters. I'm not I remember earlier today, I asked you what an extraction is, because I don't usually play any of these, but I'm willing to try it, to give it a shot, to see how it's going to be. I think $40 is the perfect pricing point for a game like this, especially how competitive, and also I feel that PlayStation is a little bit on their back foot on their original plans on these games as a service, and they need to really get that that community back on their side a little bit for this now, since they committed to purchasing Destiny or Bungie and stuff, and they needed to be they're in a position where they this game kind of has to succeed for Bungie for Bungie to even existing here in the near future. So I really hope that it's as good, or people get the anticipation for this game is worth it. Especially we don't want to see another Concord. You can't compare the two because there's two completely different games, but you don't want to see a game to fail or be like this because of the decision making that the publishing decides to do on this, and people have high anticipations of it. So I don't know. I guess the question is this is what people were expecting it to be? If this is something that most people were expecting, how the gameplay was going to be, or were people looking for more for what Marathon was going to like, you know, what was y'all's expectations on this? Like, is this exactly what you wanted, or is there something more, or like, you know, or less?
A game like this is not about characters, their stories, or any of that. It's about loot, getting the best loot, and extracting with that loot and getting that payoff of being able to then go and do higher level things and you know, stuff like that. Again, I'm not an extraction shooter player. I have played some, but I've never done any of like the hardcore, like Escape from Tarkov, and like I can't even see the people in that game. I don't know, and it takes like one bullet and you're dead. So like,
oh wow,
like that game's super hardcore, but like, and you lose everything, and like they have like the seasonal reset and stuff like that, and like again, I'm not a fan of a seasonal reset. So that's why I kind of have stayed away from the genre, but I don't know how Marathon is going to run in terms of that. Like they have the opportunity to get away from that. Will they take that opportunity? They could just play the safe route and just do industry standards, or do like what Ducky's saying, do a Rivals thing and like, look, dude, I'm gonna do all the things that you fools aren't doing, and people are gonna love it. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, Ducky was asking, I'll play it if it's free, and if not, I'll just play Rivals. I don't think it's gonna be free, Ducky. I said, I think it's gonna be probably around $40. If they won get froggy, they could do it for 30 and do it for wait, is that what you know what I mean? But like, it being Sony, I can see it being 40.
See, okay, but in the end, I don't see it like I mean, it's a tall, like, first off, the fact that you have to compete with free to play games is really going to be tough. And even though even though these are two totally different games, like completely different kinds of games, it's just that the appeal of a person being able to play a very open, like Rivals, a game that has a lot of stuff, the only thing that you have to pay for is the cosmetics, is a very alluring thing. Just same thing for like even the finals is the same way, isn't it? It's finals free to play and stuff. I mean, even though it may not be play,
yes.
Yeah, even though they may not have as big as a community or whatever, the fact that it's free to play is what makes people want to try it out, at least to the max. But now when you're telling a person you're going to have to pay $40 to get in, and then if that it's hit and miss, then plus, like I said, mixture with the bad taste of the mouth of the hero shooter of
Two
Concord.
different games, though.
Yeah, but most of these games you can't compare to any of them. But the fact that one is free to play and one is not, I mean, you can't compare Rivals to this. But
they're two different. No, and I don't think it's not like a direct comparison, because you can't. They're two different games. But it's a matter of, and again, this is where that extraction shooter, it is a niche community of people that enjoy that. I think more people are going to jump in because Bungie, what does Bungie do well? They make shooting people a lot of fun. So people are going to try it.
You're not wrong about that.
You know what I mean? So people are going to try it just because of that fact. And it's going to retain some of those people. So like, it's hard to compare something like a Concord or even a Finals where it makes more sense for that to be free to play just to get people in, and all their sales are going to come off of the cosmetics. Whereas this is a niche group of people or a niche genre of people that are like, hey, you know, we're used to paying $30-$40 for a genre like this. This is what the expectations are, at least. And there are different expectations than a hero shooter, a free-to-play hero shooter. Does that make sense? I might have talked myself.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm also wondering if the choice for premium is a lot of, and this is me coming from like, you know, the experience with fighting games. If they're building a comp scene around it, this is nothing against free-to-play people, but in free-to-play games, you have people that are at a much lower skill level than people who end up playing it competitively. And those free-to-play players eventually fall off. And so the money spent in some of the free-to-play games are the people who like that competitive edge and competitive feel. And I've noticed with other free-to-play PvP games, a lot of them fall off because people didn't really get that competitive edge. I think I want the game to be successful because as David said earlier, it's Bungie is underneath Sony now, and they got to push something out so they don't end up like some of these companies that ended up under Microsoft and got completely axed, or Sony having to do a Warner's Brother, where they just cut a bunch of studios.
Yeah,
but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no. I was going to say this because I was just looking this up, and from what Turducken's point is, that's also kind of a good point too, that Bungie puts too many things behind paywalls, and I'm not falling for that again. So even the Bungie, so even the community of the people who are strong Destiny players moving on to Marathon may still have a bad taste in their mouth on that aspect as well. But and that, I mean, I don't know if it's an uphill battle. I don't know how to really gauge it, is where it comes down to. But like,
it's hard to gauge.
Yeah. With BlueSky, I did see on Warrior 64 on BlueSky, I did say a little bit more information about it, that Marathon is going to launch as a premium product, meaning players will be asked to pay full price. Marathon will have a battle pass, 3 maps, and the 4th map arriving shortly after the launch. So, excuse me. So, I mean, that's the little information that we have for now. And then until we mess with the alpha, I guess, because we're not, the alpha's not going to be the full set of everything, is going to be like, it's going to be like, it's questionable. I want it to succeed. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like, there's just so many things of doubt, towards all of this,
I feel like that kind of says a little bit more about it, though, actually, is because like a Tarkov, where their maps would take, I mean, what was it, like one map, a huge map, and it would take months to develop new maps and whatnot. This seems like they're taking that extraction shooter genre and putting it more in a arcade style box. If that makes sense, where, if you have 3 maps out the gate, like, that's actually a lot for the genre. Like, I'm even more curious now how that's going to work. Like, is it rotating maps every time you go in? Like, it's like, all right, you piqued my curiosity even more with that. And a new map following, that's pretty interesting.
Like I said, though, I mean, like I said, like I'm willing to try it out. I mean, like I said, if you play it, then I'm probably going to try playing it too. I mean, I have no issues with Marathon itself. I just want and it's something new. It's something I've never done before. I'm willing to take a look at it. And am I going to probably will I stay on it? Probably not. I'm surprised I stayed as long as I am with Rivals, to be honest with you.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just need a daily counter with you on Rivals. Just like another day. This has been on Rivals again.
Dude, like Overwatch 2 is probably the good example of it, when I said I'm going to play this game once and I'm going to delete it. And then I did. And I never came back to it again.
That is true. That is true. But I knew, I was like, you're going to love Rivals, dude.
Yeah, Rivals.
Like, everybody's going to love this shit.
Rivals basically basically checked the box I didn't even know I had. It's such a great game.
Once Human is a great game as well, Turducken. Yes, I agree. Sorry.
Oh no, What's Human? It's like I like watching.
Probably one of my favorite survival games.
Yeah,
that's
even though
I don't,
I have no idea what's going on in Once Human, but it is fun to watch. I will say, yeah, this is fun to watch.
I've still never played Rivals, so
you should try
my
playing
streak
it.
will be another day.
You should try playing it.
I've lost interest in that. All the years I spent on Overwatch, and then I saw Rivals, I'm just like, never mind.
He's like a little bit of PTSD in itself. It's like, nope, I've done this before. Yeah, that's
it's not even like the game itself. It's the community. It's the, I lost this game because my support didn't heal me. The video evidence. They were on the other side of the map getting washed by the other team.
And that's why I didn't play it last night, Davis. I already had a headache. I did not need anything to support that by playing with a bunch of idiots.
Yes. I'm not avoiding Rivals for the game. I'm avoiding the community. I deal with enough crap from the FGC. I don't need another community.
That's hilarious. That's funny. You're like, I'm not strong enough for. I mean, the game is fine. The game isn't the problem. The people who play the game is the issue.
Yes, I would get banned day one for telling someone about themselves.
That's funny.
You didn't do your job. Why is your KD so terrible? Get good.
Do you know what's worse is what's funny, because I shouldn't do it, but I do, because I just want to play the game, in peace. is like when people put their voice chat on and then they just making weird like impersonations and stuff. Like there was one like randomly, like I was playing in the regular a match, and then this dude started playing like talking like trying to talk like Cartman, but it was failing. And I'm just like, dude, it's like I just immediately the second I opened the voice, I was like, P mute. And it's like everybody, mute everybody, don't care. Done. Yeah, I just like unless I'm playing with like a crew,
unless I'm playing with friends. Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
I can type out because like I don't need to be on heads because I'm end up popping off and saying some crazy stuff because you're being an idiot. So like unless somebody is being like toxic to somebody else or something like that, then I'll pop on and be like, yo, dude, like take it easy or whatever, you know. But like
calm down. Yeah, calm down.
It's like otherwise I just stay off it and don't say anything.
Yeah, it's straight. It's the straight etiquette. Nice to
say. Don't say anything.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I've always been sort of turned off by team-based games, and I don't, I play them with friends more often than not nowadays.
Except for Sonic Racing. you're
even
like,
then I can't trust my team.
That is true.
But it's always that thing where someone gets blamed, but it's just like with a fighting game, nah, you screw up, that's on you.
That's on you. That's how it normally goes. All right. So my topic and the final topic of today is we just got to talk a little bit about Nintendo, the announcement for the Nintendo Switch 2. There's a lot of different things of like anticipation and things that happened in just less than like it's been almost 2 weeks removed. It's going to be 2 weeks next. Like, wow, that's a nice throw. Removed. And the one of the things that I've just been kind of noticing is like the pricing, the expectations and stuff like that. The original, well, first off, let's get back. Let's kind of rewind a little bit back. So the reveal of the Switch 2 happened on Thursday, about the beginning of the month of April 3rd on this month. The reveal was cool. They showed the system. They showed what it can do. They did all the little crazy specs and the different kinds of like features and stuff. And then they showed some of the games that's coming out on it soon and and how powerful the game's going to be. But what was weird at first when I was watching it, I did a live stream of it. The first weird thing that kind of put to my attention was why didn't it show? It didn't announce a price. It didn't announce a price initially in the reveal itself, and I was like, why? That's so odd. And then I had then I had to get the price from from a third party like IGN or GameSpot or whatever, and I was like, why did they announce it but Nintendo didn't? Which was they said that the core system with just the system itself is $449, or you get the bundle with Mario Kart World for $500 for $499. And I was like, okay, there you go, that's cool. But then they start showing off. They were revealing the announcements of the games, the game reservations, and I was like, okay, so that's where I was kind of weirded off about, because what's weird is that some of these games are ridiculous in price, right? But some of these games are like, are going to be 50-50. Like they could still be like the $60, $70 to $80 games. But then when I saw Mario Kart at $90, I was like, what is that? Like that is wild to even think about, think about that a kart racing game, even though it's Mario Kart, to be saying, oh, it's going to cost you $90 if you don't get it with the bundle itself, which was very concerning to me. But one of the things, but then like a couple of days later after the announcement, they announced, because of the possible tariffs that's coming into effect, that they delayed the pre-order reservations for the Switch 2. I don't know if they have changed it yet, but because now, like as of yesterday, they announced that they're putting the tariff thing on hold on most of them except for China for 90 days, which is still a mess, just a cluster, just a mess in itself. But the biggest thing is, it's just like, I don't know if I'm liking this whole system of like the pay, like what is their what's Nintendo's path for the what they're charging for their game and the games and stuff on this, because it just seems like they're going by the popularity of the IP but not the popularity, like the cost or whatever it's going to be. Like I feel like earlier what Turducken was saying, that Nintendo's being greedy, it pretty much showing that it is showing pretty extreme greed at this point, for like blatant greed when it comes to, we're going by the strength of the IP, not the quality of, not the game, not the production of the game itself. And I don't know if I'm on board with that yet, and I don't know if I can, because like the deal breaker. Well, for me, the reason why I would buy this game right now so far is Mario Kart, because this game looks amazing. I'm like if you can see what I'm seeing here on our YouTube, it looks freaking awesome. I'm looking forward to checking this out, but. Man, dude, I to say like, am I going to be willing to spend almost $100 for this game? It's like I'm trying to justify it. I really am. So I kind of want to know, like, if y'all have any kind of thoughts about, like, what, like the way that the way that Nintendo is doing this, like what do you think? You think this is this is a justifiable thing? Do you think it's something like a good reason of like what they're trying to do? Like what are y'all's thoughts about this so far?
To my knowledge, MKW, because it's a mouthful to say, is the only one that's priced at 80. But I'm also thinking about, because Mario Kart 8 ran for over a decade. Yeah, like it's had an extremely long run. So I'm wondering if the price for World took that into account, where, oh, well, people paid, what was 8 on the Switch, like $60, but then you had to pay like $20 more for the DLC. I'm like, what if they are taking that into the account, and then the DLC is just available? Like they know people would pay a total of 80 for a base game of 60 and 20 for a DLC, and there's like, well, let's just put it all together. The game's going to be running for years.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, if they
know they can make that money.
If they're going to make a DLC, then they're going to charge for that. I mean, there's no way to say that they're going to be like, oh, we're going to just put $80 in on the deal to do it. The reason why, I mean, like, there's no way that they're, like, right now they've even announced, like, the games that you already have on the Switch, and if there's enhanced versions of the Switch 2 games, of Switch 1 games to Switch 2, the first month of those games are going to be free, but then after that they're going to charge you for it. So, like, I don't understand.
Is that what that said?
Yeah, well, it was that was news information that I looked it up about 3 days ago. From an official Nintendo announcement. The first month of there's going to be certain games that come out first month that's going to be Switch compatible, or Switch 1 games that are going to be Switch 2 enhanced. First month is Nintendo's going to be going to give you a free upgrade to Switch 2 quality for that. But then after that month, they're going to charge for that. Is what I'm saying.
That doesn't sound right. That must be like the base.
They talked about the
base subscription, because if you have the expansion pass, you can just upgrade and you're fine.
Yeah, but you're still paying for that. I mean, well, the expansion pass itself, but like, let's say that you don't renew on your expansion pass, that means it's going to go back. You're only renting that time until you don't pay for it anymore. Like, it's not yours per se. So like, let me see if I can look it up. But I mean, I'm
conflicted.
GTA 6 is like if anything, GTA 6
I feel like GTA 6 was going to be 120 either way, like before they even mentioned, I think we can sell this game for $100. Anything,
this is only going to up the price of that. You might want to be looking at the 140, 160. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
This is bad, I feel like, for the industry, because people are going to use this to justify raising every other price. Like, I can kind of understand, you know what I mean? And it's weird. The whole thing was weird for me. Number one, when you think of a new Nintendo console, you don't think of Mario Kart being their flagship, like, game. but Mario's in it. It is literally Mario Kart. And this is literally the only reason I'm even thinking about getting a day one Switch, is specifically for this game. I am waiting for it. I'm wanting it, but I feel dirty about it. I feel like I need to take a blazing hot shower. I don't feel good about this at all. And the only reason, again, is because I don't want to pay $80 for this game, is why I would do the bundle. But would I pay $80 for this game? Absolutely. Would I pay $120 for this game? Hells to the yeah. Because I am a Mario Kart slut. But that doesn't matter. This is bad overall, I feel, in terms of what they're doing. And if you look at some of the other things, proprietary, and again, this is what I need to know. They have a camera now for your chat, right? Mm-hmm. Can you use any USB-C camera? Or is it going to be something that's proprietary to Nintendo that it won't read just like any other thing? Or can I just plug a camera in? I don't know. And you're forced to then, you know what I mean? Like kind of like what Sony did with their dumb, but they had a proprietary port. This is a USB-C port. So in theory, any camera with a USB-C, plug-in should work with it. So I don't know. The straps, dude, for the freaking straps, it's $10 for the fucking straps.
The straps for $10?
What?
Jesus.
For the straps. Son,
wow.
For the tech demo, it is $10 for the. Why are you? What was his name? Reggie came out and literally tweeted about the story about how he got them to put in Wii Sports as a free game. Nintendo does not want to do that. They are wanting, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that says everything about everything to me. Again, their jobs are to make money. I understand that. Yeah. But they're not about the culture. They're not about the games and all that stuff. They don't give a shit about you or me. They give a shit about the money that is in our pockets. And they are showing that. And again, this, I feel, only supports my theory as to why I believe Xbox is going to lead the gaming industry.
You have to bring that in. You have to fit it in.
I had to circle it back. In terms of the Japanese gaming industry, they are the only ones that haven't done layoffs within Japan. They've had to do layoffs in other places. I think Nintendo is the only one where they haven't done layoffs in their, headquarters outside of Japan. And I'm wondering if the price increases so they can continue to do that, because if Nintendo ends up saying, hey, we had to lay off 100 people at Nintendo America, like I can only imagine what kind of backlash, seeing the backlash at the $80 game, I'm just like, I can only imagine how people are going to react if they find out that Nintendo does layoffs.
I'm not worried about so if they have to do a price increase, I understand a price increase. Like for instance, when PlayStation decided to say games are going to be released at $70 a head, then I was like, okay, that I understand that. But if you look at the games that are being released on the first gen games that are being released, they're all over the place. They're not like statically the same kind of base.
Oh yeah, there's no assembly of a good roster of games for the Switch 2. I'm not.
But no, I'm not talking about roster wise. I'm talking about the games itself is like Mario Kart's probably the most expensive one, $80. But then Donkey Kong is good. I believe Donkey Kong. Actually, I think Donkey Kong is also an $80 game. When I think about it.
No, it's 70.
Oh, is it 70?
Let's see. 70, Donkey Kong. What was it called? Donkey Kong.
I do not recall. I kind of lost interest in the games that were being announced because y'all already know what my day one purchases would have been. And some people were like, oh, there was a Legend of Zelda game. I was like, it was Hyrule Warriors, and I hated using the Guardians in their Warriors games. I'm just like, Nintendo never lets Koei Tecmo. Nintendo never lets Koei Tecmo do their thing with Hyrule Warriors as they should. And they're like, Nintendo's just like, we got to add this one Nintendo thing that doesn't make sense in a Warriors game. Because what Warriors game do you know where you're riding on top of a device and shooting things?
Yeah, no, right.
Where's the hack and slash alone? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I looked it up though too. The free so there's 12 games that's going to be free updates for Nintendo Switch games to Switch 2, and all the rest of them are you have to pay for it. So there's ARMS, Captain Toad, Treasure Tracker, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, Bowser, Clubhouse Games, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, New Super Mario Brothers, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Big Brain Academy. So all the other games, you have to pay for that upgrade. It's crazy. And that's on Nintendo's page itself. So like, I don't know, like to say that you're going to do it itself. So I'm just saying that like they seem like they're being a lot more aggressive than what you're normally usually seeing with
this. Is not the family friendly Nintendo that you know what I mean? Like I feel like this is more akin to, you know, every other like consoles and not even like not necessarily not PC, I guess maybe more towards consoles, I guess, and just what they're I don't know. It just feels feels
right.
dirty to me.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Nintendo.
Right. Yeah. Like this does not feel Nintendo to me. Yeah,
and that's another thing. I didn't even know what Tadeka just added on site. They are even charging for the in-game chat. Like Discord doesn't exist.
Like, what do you mean?
So like how is that?
I think that's a part of the. I think that's part of the online features because you have to pay for online on PlayStation. You have to play the chat online with Xbox. These are just I was gonna say
like if there's an additional fee on top of the whatever that you're paying for the internet, it's going to be crazy.
The Nintendo Switch online. That is where you pay for the in-game chat. It's not an additional price.
I do have that because I have a family plan. You know what I mean? So like, you know, so I'm just.
Will I ever use it? Yeah, and will I ever use it?
I think people are misled because they're just like try out the in-game chat free for the first month, and then like in the small text it's just like you need Nintendo, you need NSO for it. So
yeah.
But I'm like that makes sense because the other consoles do that. And not everybody uses Discord for gaming. Yeah, if you're talking about like the average gamer, they are not going to be on Discord.
Oh, I don't really care. Well, like first off, I don't think the average gamer is not going to. On Discord the average gamer is definitely not going to be using it. But
as a parent, I'm a lot more likely to. Oh, you're playing with your friends on Nintendo? Great, sure, you know, go for it. As opposed to, oh yeah, here's Discord, here's access to anybody's server. I'm more comfortable as a parent having it within the Nintendo ecosystem that I can control and look at and use the app to be like, oh, this is their, you know, whatever. So like it totally makes sense to me in terms of who their target audience is and who would actually be. I mean, even the video in the thing, I was just like, I can't believe you guys actually showed it because it looked like shit.
Yeah, it was a kind of like, a 50-50 kind of thing.
144p? Like, what is happening?
It was bad. It was bad.
Crazy to me. That was crazy.
Especially when they showed the clips of them, like, you know, actively being interactive in the videos. And I was like, this is terrible. This is like 2008 kind of thing. Oh, with that deal. So no. But yeah,
Nintendo didn't say that. Bowser said that, and that was the guy from Nintendo America. Nintendo themselves did not say that.
You know what's worse?
The man's last name is Bowser. What were you expecting?
No, they beat off their chest to say, "Oh, look at this cool feature of it, this camera feature and stuff," and it did not. It looked terrible. It wasn't even like, you know, somebody wouldn't even be bragging about.
I'm responding to what Ducky said in the chat about Nintendo saying if you can't afford the Switch 2, just buy the original Switch. That was Bowser.
It was totally a Diablo Immortals moment. Ooh. What, don't you have phones? Like literally, that's all I can think of.
Dude.
I saw what he said. I'm just like, response. Y'all are expecting a man with the last name Bowser. When he got hired on as the CEO, if you look at his picture saying, "Oh, look at the job I got today," Mario and Luigi are tied up with like power cables in the back on his shelf. Like, no, of course he's not gonna, you know, be like, oh, you know, these Switch 2 prices are not okay. Look at what he did to the flagship characters. He doesn't care about the consumer.
I imagine Doug Bowser drives to work in one of like his car, but the car is dressed up like that clown helicopter thing he used to do in Super Mario Brothers. Yeah, exactly.
Don't know where.
Yeah, no, right. Well, time to go. And then it's like just.
Or if he has a Jeep, the tire on the back just has spikes coming out of it. Like Bowser's shell.
You know, somewhere out there, Bowser has a kid. It is called Bowser Jr. So keep that in mind. So there you go.
And the kids at school call him that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah.
I'm gonna throw my money at it. but I don't like it. I don't like the way it is.
You're kind of the problem, but at the same time, it's
I know. I'll admit it. I am part of the problem for sure. I think people should not, and again, speaking with your wallets is gonna say and do the most, have the most effect. But I am part of the problem because I will be giving them my wallet.
The money. Yeah, we'll see.
I'm
we'll see whenever they open up the pre-order.
That would have made it.
I know, dude. But Mario Kart, I've been waiting for a new Mario Kart for years.
Poppy's saying, "Don't do it, Smitty. Don't enable them." You know, it's not good.
I've been playing Mario Kart. I've been playing since SNES, dude. That is like Mario Kart is my number one IP for Nintendo.
Yes,
I'm not looking forward to $140 games. I don't want them, but I'm
blatantly blaming you for the reason of what's going to happen to come. It's going to be, this is all Smitty's fault. We can also clip that.
Wait,
we're going to be like,
so would it be a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yes.
Essentially, I'm enabling Xbox to be, or Microsoft to be able to get a foothold in the digital market, and these guys are raising their prices. Like, yeah, keep raising them, keep raising. Hey guys, Xbox is clearly making the right moves. I'm making it happen. I'm gonna take one
further. I'm going to say that this is more like a Terminator situation of like what's happened in the future. And it's like, yeah, because Smitty bought this system for $400 something. All this, the future's now gone to hell because he bought that system. So yeah, so there
Nintendo
you go.
Was empowered too much.
Yeah, it's like, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see another T1000 coming. It's like we got to stop Smitty from buying the system.
I am not a nerd.
Oh my God, folks. Thank you for listening to episode number 159 of the CFG Game. No, not 159, 259 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. We will be back again next week with a whole new set of different topics. But if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly all right. We do release it at the beginning of each and every week on Monday. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on all sexist voices. Ooh. Guys, also be sure to check it out. I promise you it's coming. It's going to be the Frag Punk review that Smitty has done, worked so hard on. We will be back. It's coming next week. It will be here next week. I promise you it's going to be next week. And we got some other stuff going in the table, but we'll also be sure we're going to be going to Level Up Expo on the end of the month in Las Vegas. So definitely we're going to have a panel Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Be there and have a great set of different kinds of conversations with us directly. So guys, once again, this is Pop, Smitty, and Davis signing out. Y'all take it easy.